What up, party people? Welcome to Tony's Timepiece Review. Today is the 15th of June 2018, Friday night. Cheers, having a beer, or a few. And I wanted to talk about buying and selling high-end luxury watches. First, we'll do the wristwatch check. I am wearing my brand new Rolex Datejust. I purchased just about 2 weeks ago now, and I've been wearing it every day, and I love it. It's awesome. First brand new Rolex I bought from an AD, so I'm enjoying it. My bank account isn't, but I am. So here's the thing, with watches, when you're buying or you're selling, I'm gonna just give you some of the examples that I've dealt with. I'm gonna shift this camera a little bit. You got to do your research, It's simple as that. It's just research. It's not too difficult, really. If you have a watch in mind that you really like, just research. There's plenty of websites and there's forums. I don't go on any forums whatsoever. I mean, I just, throughout all the years, I just know what I know and what I like and what the watches are worth. But it's really what it comes down to is a specific timepiece. If you're buying a watch, look at the watch you want. If you have to buy it pre-owned, if you don't want to buy it brand new, look at your options of where they're for sale. There's plenty of online establishments that sell, high-end luxury watches. I don't trust all of them, but there's some. There's Govberg, there's Tourneau, there's Nashville Watch Company, which I got to give them a big thumbs up right now. And then there's watch companies that are startups that are just starting up, that are selling high-end luxury watches for basically, for instance, you can get a brand new Omega Seamaster on the gray market for maybe $2,700, and then there's startup watch companies that are selling for like $2,400-$2,500 when you can actually get that watch brand new for just a few $100s more. So do your research. I'm going to give you an example of what when I sold my Rolex Datejust, the one with the black dial that I had. I bought it in December. I got a good deal on it, and I paid $3,500 for it, which he had it in the store. I bought it at a retail outlet, and he had it listed for $4,000. Now, I got him down pretty good to $3,500, which was a great deal. I actually ended up selling that watch to Nashville Watch Company, and they gave me a really good price. But I'm going to give you an example of another person, another company that I respected, and I felt like I trusted them. And I think that's just really, you fall into that sometimes when you watch, their watch reviews. And in this case, I kind of fucked up. I didn't fuck up, actually. What had happened was, I had watched a certain guy. I don't want to mention his name. I think his name is Fuckerico Talks Watches or something, in Florida. And he ended up calling me. Long story short, I ended up doing a bunch of deals with him where I sold him a bunch of my timepieces. But he lowballed the shit out of me, man. And I agreed to those prices, so it was okay, So I'm not saying, well, he lowballed me and I had to sell it for that price. I didn't have to sell shit to him, but I did. And then when it came down to me wanting to buy a watch from him, which I'd actually bought the Zenith vintage watch from him as part of a trade with other watches. So he bought several watches from me. So then there was but I know that he lowballed me so much, and I agreed to that, and that's fine. But when I wanted to purchase another watch from him, which was a Tudor Black Bay, he had it listed for only a few $100s less than what I could buy it brand new, also with a dent in the case. So I offered him maybe $300 less than what he had it listed for, and he said, "Oh, sorry, brother, I can't do it, man. I don't have much markup on that." And it's like, dude, who are you trying to play? I mean, I know what your markup is, because the watches that I sold you, you put a substantial markup on them, and those watches sold within the first week. So who are you trying to rip off? All right. I'm not saying you're ripping anyone off. Well, you are really actually. So sorry. I'm not going to apologize. Fuck you. Um, man, a few beers and all of a sudden I just open up. But he didn't even counter me on the Tudor Black Bay, and like I say, I only offered him a few $100s less than what he had it listed. So when it came to selling my Rolex Datejust, granted I bought it for $3,500. I sent, also keep in mind that I've been in the watch business for over 20 years. Not necessarily full time. At one time I was. He's been in the business for 10 years, and he loves to I've been in the business for 10 years. Great, good for you, bro. I got fucking 10 years on top of you. But I don't flaunt that. I don't throw it out. There's a lot of real douchebags in this business, man. There's a lot of people that are cocky, pompous, arrogant, and it really kind of ruins it when you want to buy a luxury watch, especially pre-owned. So when I ended up wanting to sell my Datejust, I sent some emails off to some other companies and whatever. He thinks that he's the only one that I wanted to deal with. And he shoots me back this freaking ridiculous lowball offer. You know me, man. This is his email. I'm a straight shooter, and I tell it like it is. Your case is way over polished, which it wasn't, because that particular Rolex was a polished case. It wasn't over polished by any means. And he likes to send me a link to something else comparable or whatever. And so what it came down to was, I'm going to back up, and I apologize. I ended up selling my Carl F. Bucherer. And when I sold it to him, he said, you can buy them brand new for $1,000. I'm just going to use that term. I can't remember what I sold it to him for. And it was a $3,300 watch. He goes, you can buy them for $1,000 brand new. And he sends me a couple links. And I go, at that point, I trusted him. And he goes, I'll give you, a few $100s for it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, screw it. So I sent it to him. And he turns around, puts it on his website for almost double what he tells me you can buy them brand new for, and then sells it. So he didn't rip me off because I agreed to that price. But the person who bought that watch, he ripped off. Because if you could buy it for the price that he said, and he sold it for twice as much, then, he didn't do me any injustice because I agreed to that price. But the person he sold it to, who hangs on every word on all of his videos, trusted him and bought that watch when they could have got it on the gray market brand spanking new for almost half the price of what he sold it to him for. All right, so come to the Rolex. I send the Rolex, and at this point I don't really want to do business with him anymore anyway, because he's a nice guy. He's a big teddy bear of a guy, comes across real friendly and whatever and real nice, but he's a typical guy who is who wants to sell watches. He'll buy as low as he can and sell as high as he can. That's all they want to do, man. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a fuck about if you're happy with your purchase. They just want to fucking sell you a watch. So he sends me this lowball fucking offer for my Rolex, and it was laughable. It's over polished, and you know me, I'm a straight shooter, brother. And sends me a link to refer to another guy. And sends me this link and says, this is a well-known watch dealer in Nashville selling a similar Datejust for $3,800, and he's had it for 6 months, and he can't sell it. Which he doesn't know. I'd already sent an email to that guy because I know a guy who bought some watches from him in Nashville. And that guy offered me $1,200 more than what Federico offered me. Watch arrives, Nashville watch guy, perfect condition, love it, man. Boom, wired me the money instantaneously. So Fuckerico in Florida there, all he's trying to do is just lowball. Now, I don't care. I'm not trying to diss anybody, really. And even if you think I am, fine, that's fine too. But really what it comes down to is ripping people off. Okay, when it comes to buying and selling, do research, all right? Know what your watch is worth, All right. I know if I sold this, I just bought it 2 weeks ago, but I bought it full retail, slight discount. I'll lose way more money on this. I know what I would get for it used, pre-owned, whatever, box and papers. I knew what my other Rolex was worth. I knew what all my other watches are worth. But that's only just because I've done research on them. I know what I paid for them and I know what they're worth. So having said all that, I hope I'm making sense. But when it comes down to it, just make sure you do research. Don't take someone's offer just because they're trying to convince you that's what your watch is worth if you're selling a watch. And then if you're buying one too, don't just assume that that price is what it's worth. Because if that person says, well, I wouldn't sell it for that price, okay, you might be able to find it somewhere else, So just keep in mind, it's all about research. Know your product, know what you're looking for. And then, based off of all that, get quotes from various different companies what you're buying or selling. I hope this makes sense to you. This is a long video, so I'm going to let you go. And I appreciate you watching, for the people that do watch. So having said that, have a great night. We'll do a quick drink. Boom. Peace out.